Right now, somewhere beneath a mountain, buried on an island, hidden inside a forgotten building or resting at the bottom of the sea, an enormous treasure may still be waiting. These are not treasures that were discovered and placed inside museums. They remain missing. Some disappeared during wars. Others went down with ships, were stolen from guarded castles, or were supposedly buried by pirates. Generations of archaeologists, historians, divers, and treasure hunters have searched for them. Yet none of the main treasures in this countdown has been conclusively recovered. Some could be worth millions, or even billions, of dollars. Others are priceless because of their historical or religious importance. Here are 10 of the greatest lost treasures that people are still searching for. Number 10. The Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. The Superstition Mountains of Arizona contain one of America's most enduring treasure mysteries. According to legend, a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz discovered an extremely rich gold mine during the 19th century. Waltz became known as the Dutchman, even though he was German. Before his death in 1891, he reportedly revealed clues describing the mine's location. But the directions were incomplete, confusing, and sometimes contradictory. Since then, thousands of people have entered the mountains searching for his gold. The environment is extremely dangerous. Searchers face intense heat, steep cliffs, rattlesnakes, flash floods, and a serious lack of water. Some treasure hunters have disappeared or died during their expeditions. No mine matching the full legend has ever been authenticated. Historians question whether Waltz discovered a rich mine, found a smaller deposit, or simply possessed gold from another source. Yet searchers continue exploring the mountains, convinced that a forgotten entrance still exists among the rocks. Number 9. Captain Kidd's Missing Treasure. William Kidd was a 17th century sea captain who was later accused of piracy. Before his arrest in 1699, Kidd buried treasure on Gardiner's Island, near New York. Authorities recovered that deposit, proving that Kidd really had hidden part of his wealth. However, many treasure hunters believe it was not his only secret cache. Stories claim Kidd concealed additional gold, silver, gemstones, and valuable cargo somewhere along the Atlantic coast or on an island in the Caribbean. Over the centuries, supposed maps, coded messages, and deathbed confessions connected to Kidd have appeared. Searchers have investigated remote beaches, caves, and islands from New England to the Caribbean. But no second major treasure belonging to Kidd has been authenticated. Historians argue that his total fortune may have been much smaller than legend suggests. Still, because one genuine cache was found, people continue wondering whether another remains buried beneath an ordinary-looking beach. Number 8. The Irish Crown Jewels. In 1907, a priceless collection of ceremonial jewels vanished from Dublin Castle. Despite their famous name, the Irish Crown Jewels were not a crown. They included a diamond-covered star and badge used by the Grand Master of the Order of St. Patrick. The pieces contained hundreds of diamonds, along with rubies and emeralds. Only days before an important royal visit, officials opened the safe and discovered that the jewels were gone. There were no obvious signs of a violent break-in. Several people had access to the building, leading investigators to suspect an inside job. The case produced rumors, accusations, and political embarrassment, but nobody was convicted. Some investigators believe the jewels were broken apart and sold. Others think they survived intact and may now be hidden inside a private collection. Historians and investigators still examine records surrounding the robbery, hoping a jewel, photograph, or forgotten family secret will finally solve the case. Number 7. The Treasure of Oak Island. For more than 2 centuries, treasure hunters have searched beneath Oak Island in Nova Scotia, Canada. The mystery began when early searchers reportedly noticed a strange depression in the ground. As they dug, they claimed to find wooden platforms, unusual layers of soil, and signs that someone had deliberately altered the site. The location became known as the Money Pit. Theories about the supposed treasure include pirate gold, French royal jewels, ancient religious artifacts, and secret historical documents. Searchers have spent enormous amounts of money drilling, excavating, and attempting to stop seawater from flooding underground shafts. Coins, tools, metal fragments, and other historical objects have been discovered around the island. However, no legendary central treasure has been conclusively recovered. Skeptics believe natural underground formations and exaggerated stories created the mystery. Believers argue that the most important chamber has simply not been reached. The modern search continues, using drilling equipment, metal detection, sonar, and underground imaging. Number 6. The Treasure of Lima. In 1820, Spanish officials in Lima, Peru, feared that revolutionary forces would capture the city and seize its wealth. According to the famous story, they loaded an enormous treasure onto a ship called the Mary Deer. The cargo reportedly included gold coins, silver, gemstones, and valuable religious objects. The most spectacular item was said to be a life-sized golden statue of the Virgin Mary decorated with jewels. Captain William Thompson was ordered to transport the treasure to safety. Instead, he and his crew allegedly killed the guards and stole the fortune. When their ship was captured, Thompson supposedly claimed that the treasure had been buried on Cocos Island, off Costa Rica. He reportedly escaped before revealing the exact location. Many expeditions have searched the island, but no verified discovery of the legendary treasure has been made. Today, environmental protections restrict digging on Cocos Island. The treasure's existence and reported size remain disputed, but its legend continues to inspire researchers and treasure hunters. Number 5. The Flor de la Mar treasure. In 1511, the Portuguese ship Flor de la Mar sailed away from the conquered city of Malacca, carrying an extraordinary cargo. Historical accounts describe gold, jewels, valuable objects, and tribute taken during the Portuguese campaign. But the ship was old, overloaded, and poorly prepared for dangerous weather. While sailing near Sumatra, the Flor de la Mar encountered a violent storm. The vessel broke apart and sank. Many people died, and most of the cargo vanished beneath the water. Some items may have washed ashore or been recovered immediately after the disaster. However, the main treasure has never been conclusively located. Finding the wreck is difficult because the exact sinking location remains uncertain. Strong currents and changing coastlines may also have scattered or buried the remains. Any major discovery could create ownership disputes between countries, governments, and private salvagers. Divers and maritime researchers remain fascinated by the mystery. Should the legendary cargo still exist together, it could represent one of the richest shipwreck discoveries ever made. The 5 remaining treasures are even more mysterious. One is a missing national treasure of Japan, and another was an entire room covered in amber and gold. Number 4. The Honjo Masamune. The Honjo Masamune is not a chest filled with coins. It is one of the most important missing swords in Japanese history. The blade was created by Masamune, a legendary swordsmith whose work became famous for its beauty, strength, and craftsmanship. It later passed through powerful Japanese families and became closely associated with the Tokugawa shogunate. Before the Second World War, the sword was officially recognized as a Japanese national treasure. After Japan surrendered, authorities ordered many families to hand over their weapons. The Honjo Masamune was surrendered to the police and reportedly transferred to an American serviceman. However, researchers have never conclusively identified the person named in surviving records. The sword then disappeared. It may have been destroyed, taken to the United States, or placed inside a private collection by someone who never understood its importance. Sword experts and collectors remain alert for a blade that could match its history. Number 3. Missing Nazi looted treasure. During the Second World War, Nazi forces stole huge quantities of gold, jewelry, artwork, and cultural property. Some of it was recovered after the war. Much of it remains missing or disputed. Stories describe trucks, trains, and military convoys transporting valuables into mines, tunnels, and underground bunkers as Allied and Soviet forces advanced. One famous legend concerns an armored train supposedly hidden near Wałbrzych, Poland. In 2015, 2 treasure hunters claimed that underground scans revealed a train-shaped object. Later examinations did not produce convincing evidence that a train was buried at the proposed location. The specific gold train story may be a legend. However, the broader disappearance of Nazi-looted property is well documented. Researchers, governments, and descendants of the original owners continue examining museum collections, auction records, private estates, and wartime archives. There may not be one giant train filled with gold, but important artworks, jewels, and other stolen valuables could still be hidden, misidentified, or privately held. The Amber Room was once called the eighth wonder of the world. Created during the early 18th century, its walls were decorated with several tons of amber, gold leaf, mirrors, and elaborate ornaments. The room was eventually installed inside Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, Russia. When Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, palace workers attempted to conceal the amber panels. German soldiers discovered them, dismantled the room, and transported it to Königsberg Castle. Number 2. The Amber Room. The Amber Room was displayed there during the war. Then, as the city came under attack, the panels vanished. Many historians believe the room was destroyed by bombing, fire, or the collapse of the castle. Others think the panels were packed into crates and moved to a mine, bunker, or hidden chamber. Another theory claims they were loaded onto a ship that later sank in the Baltic Sea. Investigators have searched locations across Germany, Poland, Russia, and surrounding waters. A beautiful reconstruction now stands inside Catherine Palace. But the original Amber Room has never been conclusively recovered. Number 1. The Ark of the Covenant. At number 1 is perhaps the most famous missing sacred object in history. According to biblical tradition, the Ark of the Covenant was a wooden chest covered in gold. It was created to hold the stone tablets associated with the Ten Commandments. The Ark eventually became one of the holiest objects of ancient Israel and was kept inside the first temple in Jerusalem. Then it disappeared from the historical record. Babylonian forces captured Jerusalem and destroyed the first temple in 586 BC. Accounts mention valuable objects taken from the city, but they do not clearly explain what happened to the Ark. This silence created countless theories. Some believe it was destroyed or carried away by the Babylonians. Others believe priests removed it before the invasion and hid it inside a secret chamber beneath Jerusalem. Another tradition claims it was taken to Ethiopia. A sacred object identified by local tradition as the Ark is protected in Axum, but it has not been independently examined and authenticated. Historians, archaeologists, and religious scholars continue debating the mystery. No object has been universally accepted as the original Ark of the Covenant. Some of these treasures may have been destroyed long ago. Some may be smaller than the legends claim, and a few may never have existed at all. But others were unquestionably real and disappeared without a confirmed ending. One could still be beneath the ocean, sealed inside a tunnel, or sitting unnoticed in a private collection. Which treasure do you believe will be found first? Share your answer in the comments. Subscribe for more videos about lost history, hidden places, and unexplained mysteries.